Basically, it's a viewfinder that does not have a lens. It just has a framework that you would look through. The camera folds up. It has on the back the indicators for the film numbers, whether it's generally there were 12 pictures you could take on a roll of film. Also, you would simply wind the knob here for the next picture to be taken, and of course press down this little indicator that kept you from overlapping or doing a double exposure. Cameras back then also were built with a cable release that you could put a cable release in. And so when you take the picture, you could take it from a cable, less shaking. Under the bottom here on this side is the standard tripart screw on this camera. And so it allowed you to mount it. If you put it on a tripart, you could either use your hand or you could use a cable. And it had a little stand, but also, which is right up under here that folds under, but also it has on here the speed dial. And of course, back in those days, we not only had the speed, but we also had to figure how many feet a person would be or the object would be from us. And this would go all the way down to, 5 feet? 5 feet all the way around, 50 feet, and then infinity. Infinity is from the camera, on into eternity, so to speak. The speeds on an average ran, well, not on an average, they are from 1 second to 250th of a second. And you had to deal also with the f-stops, which was from 4.5 to f22, which basically measured the amount of light coming into the camera as coupled with the speed of the camera. Now, as you go to f22, you'll find that you'll get a sharper picture because the light is coming through a much narrower iris of the lens, which produces a sharper picture. But also at the same time, it also produces a slower speed. So then you have to make sure that you go back and have the right speed on there in order to get the picture perfect. So back in those days, you had to constantly work in your head all of the numbers, the speed, the f-stop, the distance, and so forth. The light ratio, whether it was a 1-to-1 lighting ratio, or whatever difference when you're shooting at 12 o'clock compared to 6 o'clock in the morning, and so forth.
So, fantastic. I guess the guys who point and shoot got it pretty easy today, huh?
Yeah. Well, there was a point and click, but it is this, keep this in mind. This is simply an extension of your vision. It is a tool. You have to first see and hear what you're trying to look at. But you have to go beyond looking and start seeing. Once seeing, this tool captures that image. So keep in mind, if you are typing, you can type by the hunt and peck system, or maybe nowadays they type by the thumb system on cell phone cameras and so forth. But if you took a typing class, or at least back when I did it, you had to learn on blind typewriters, and it was called the touch system. And there you could sit there and close your eyes and type. I've noticed that sometimes someone would see me typing on the computer and they say, "Oh, you know the keyboard." Well, that was a must. And so the same thing with the cameras. Now, today's cameras are in so many ways much more exciting. You don't have to worry about speed. You don't have to worry about focus and all of those other things. It just simply, you might say, aim and shoot, but it's more to that: aim, compose, and shoot. And there's a difference in shooting and a difference in just taking the picture. Because with any camera, they say there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. If you go, boom, I got it, that's one thing. But if you have the camera and you squeeze it, you're going to get a much better picture. Because you're putting all of the control, and guess what? it's not doing this, it's not doing this, but it's holding steady, and you squeeze. Now you can also squeeze on your cell phones and other cameras as well. Makes a difference what you put into it in the process.